Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving right into what's arguably the absolute most cinematic, assertive, and visually arresting performance you'll ever see on a dance floor. I'm talking about the Paso Doble. If you're someone who really appreciates structure, sharp intention, and just pure, unadulterated, dramatic flair, you are going to absolutely love the mechanics behind this. Seriously, it's not just about moving your feet around. It's about walking in and completely owning the entire room. Here's how we're going to break this down today. We'll start with the ultimate dance spectacle, see how it's driven by the rhythm, look at the bold geometry and posture, unpack how it tells a story, and then finish up with the competitive edge. Let's jump in.
Section 1. The Ultimate Dance Spectacle.
Now, Paso Doble literally translates from Spanish as double step, but as we know, it means so much more than just counting out your footwork. When you think of traditional ballroom, you probably picture flowing dresses, right? That effortless gliding across the floor. Well, Paso Doble completely shatters that expectation. It demands something entirely different, absolute conviction and really deep character work. The whole appeal is anchored in Spanish tradition, specifically the incredibly tense, high-stakes imagery of a bullfight. When these dancers step onto the floor, they aren't just partners anymore. They're embodying roles. They bring the raw tension and spectacular drama of the arena right into the ballroom, turning technical movement into a totally gripping narrative. So unlike the continuous flow and sweeping lines you get in traditional ballroom, Paso Doble actively favors bold geometry. We're talking firm, uncompromising stances. Instead of continuously traveling, you get steps that feel like the dancers are deliberately marking time on a stage, just letting the energy build up. It's less about moving across the room and way more about commanding the exact spot they're standing on. Section 2. Driven by the rhythm. Now, all that drama and tension we just talked about, it doesn't just appear out of thin air. It is fundamentally anchored in the music, which is the pulsing heartbeat for this intense display. Paso Doble is typically danced to marches set in a strict 2/4 time signature. This creates a really crisp, unmistakable, march-like pulse. It's the absolute foundation that supports the forceful character of the dance. Honestly, you can probably almost hear that march just thinking about it, right? So the really crucial point here is how the dancers interact with that 2/4 march. The musical phrasing directly dictates exactly how dancers set their weight into the floor and then release it. Timing isn't just a suggestion here. It is quite literally everything. This becomes exceptionally critical when the choreography calls for sudden, sharp changes in energy and direction. If the timing is off, even by a tiny fraction of a second, the entire illusion of that bullfight tension just falls apart completely. Because of this incredibly strict musical structure, the dance achieves a highly cinematic feel. Steps land with serious intention. I mean, the dancers aren't just stepping on a beat, they are striking it. And even more powerfully, the pauses read as emphasis. Think about that for a second. In Paso Doble, standing perfectly still can actually be the most dynamic move in the entire routine. The whole structure perfectly mirrors the rise and dramatic peak of a live stage performance. Moving on to Section 3, bold geometry and posture. So how exactly does the human body react to a 2/4 marching rhythm to create something so striking? Well, it all comes down to sharp, highly visible styling. To get that unmistakable Paso Doble silhouette, dancers use a strict set of physical cues. We're talking incredibly strong posture, heavily squared shoulders to project absolute dominance, and strictly controlled head positions that just snap from one focal point to another. And the arms? They frame the body in very deliberate, dramatic shapes. Think of the sweeping cape of a matador. These physical choices effectively let the dancers paint the choreography in the air, ensuring both the judges and the audience can read the shapes perfectly, even from 50 feet away. But all those beautiful arm shapes mean absolutely nothing without grounded footwork. Movements in the Paso Doble have to be remarkably grounded. The weight must be decisively placed into the floor before stepping into the next figure. That's exactly what gives the dance its assertive, almost aggressive look. Even when they're executing incredibly fast combinations within that strict competition timing, they never ever look light or floaty. They look rooted, powerful, and just utterly in control. Section 4, telling a story. Okay, so we've got the rhythm and we've got the posture. Now, how do these sharp shapes and marching steps actually build a narrative on the dance floor? The theatrical element isn't just slapped on with a sparkly costume or facial expression. It's literally embedded right into the choreography itself. It usually unfolds in a specific sequence. First, you get this palpable advance and retreat energy. It's the matador and the cape, or the matador and the bull, sizing each other up. Second, the choreography leans heavily into tension building, holding onto those dramatic pauses we talked about. And finally, it uses highly stylized gestures that read super clearly from a distance. The dancers are working just as hard on interpreting this story as they are on getting their feet in the right place.
It's a real balancing act. These dancers walk a delicate tightrope between discipline and flair. On one hand, you absolutely need the precision of discipline to keep those bold geometric shapes consistent and technically sound. But on the other hand, if all you have is discipline, the dance feels dead. You need flair, that raw, fiery expressiveness to really bring the performance to life. This balance gets especially tested during key performance moments, where judges are specifically looking for both technical control and supreme confidence.
And finally, Section 5, the competitive edge. So why does this specific cocktail of music, posture, and story consistently captivate everyone in the room? Well, in the highly critical world of ballroom competitions, Paso Doble stands out for one major reason. It highly rewards clarity. Keep in mind, judges have to evaluate multiple couples on the floor at the exact same time. Because Paso Doble relies on such bold visual choices, a judge can read the dance incredibly quickly, assuming it's executed with total commitment, of course. Clean lines, correct timing, and a recognizable character cut through the noise of a crowded competition floor like a knife. I absolutely love this quote from the source material. An event within the event. That hits the nail on the head. Because of the driving music, the intense, dramatic styling, and that incredibly clear sense of narrative, it totally transcends being just another heat in a competition. For the audience, the moment a great Paso Doble starts, you can actually feel the atmosphere in the room shift. It almost always becomes the most memorable part of the entire program.
Ultimately, whether you're actively learning it, just watching it from the stands, or maybe planning to perform it yourself, Paso Doble offers something truly unique. It is that extremely rare combination of grueling athletic ballroom technique paired perfectly with full-stage theatricality. It literally demands the stamina of an elite athlete and the captivating presence of a leading actor, the whole shebang. I'll leave you with this question to ponder. Next time you watch a dance competition, are you going to see just steps, or will you actually feel the tension of the arena? Now that you know the hidden mechanics, the 2/4 time, the grounded footwork, the precise geometry, and that intense bullfight narrative, you're probably never going to be able to watch Paso Doble the same way again. Look for that moment where the dancers hold a pause, let the tension peak, and absolutely own the room. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.